Yeah, just a slight warning for those of you with sensitive ears. There may be some not excellent singing, just a little. And if you need to leave right now, I understand. What yet aureate in the dimming? If the light, if the air, if March is not enough, March or April in New Orleans in 2010, once home, streets, resonant, a Puccini aria a cappella out a window, in this hour of dolor, why, oh Lord? Then a sultry Sam Cooke with guitar on charters, then I go to my brother and I say, brother, please. The conquistador colors of the French Quarter, galloping toward the river. This strip of domain, all yours, just now. It's not enough. No gaudy tourists jangling around, no cameras, just your senses, breathing out to bring in what expands your chest, what trills your skin. It's as if people still lived in the quarter, or are we in the new world, definitively too late? Can't we still gather ourselves into another life altogether? Could we translate our morphologies into 1,000 new forms, survey the world otherwise than man, sick, and his mirror matter? Will our hands relinquish white-knuckled might, unknot hawker and hooked, that we might all live? If the possibility itself will not suffice, its shadow leaves us insanguine as an idea of thought. How could it be different than what? What will, what world, what can we, will we make take shape? So sweet. This is for you, darling, because it's your favorite poem in the manuscript. Land's End. It's because of their mortality that things exist. At 11, night. Walking unintentional miles along the Pacific. Land's End to China, beach and back. Greg and I in view of marshals, but not close enough to make out any nude men lingering along one another on the wet sand. Wondering if we are anywhere near where you had been a week ago when a whale's back came pouring out, its dorsal fin cresting over tremulous sun, reflective surface foaming over rocks and gliding in and out as quickly, lost to you as you turned to leave. Do I have it right? Stopped mid-turn, it jerked back, it glanced your gaze. Do you recall yourself in the very instance of its disappearance? Hence memory, so sight, so this absenting presence, this existence, oceanic. From our finite shores, some notion of something more magical feeling, this poetic thinking of something like hope, something like survival, like making a life from the given. Call it the key to the gate. Call it any idea in disorder. What else do we have? What else could we do, even knowing it was futile, but backtrack all our day's steps to try and find my lost wallet, inadvertently tossed in the weeds, grabbing my phone for a quick pic, or slyly lifted from my little black bag as we hung, suspended in the high head-swirling susurrations, the glittered belly rolling undulations of the rhythms of the waves below, taken by sleight of hand and transacted into designer shoes from Rodeo Drive, a trip to Rio for Carnival, a silver blue Mercedes convertible, maybe even a chateau on the coast of every sun-drenched droplet of a newly acquired summer home archipelago, crumbs in an electric trail of posted fuck book, fuck you pics, montaging the glamorous life I'll never know, but maybe might have halfway wanted myself. Someone else's bucket list pocketed by the fistful from my stolen fiscal ipsity. It ain't much, sings Sheila E. My eyes in the bushes behind rocks, my wallet playing games with my thoughts, roaming now like children, pattering unpaved adventures, hunting the hidden when, all of a start, they're sprung upon. I imagine a plump and graying woman, long-shawled and holding out one cracked hand full of endless slices of cake, another pointing to a box overflowing the spectrum of inks with reams of blank pages to capture their attention, to keep them occupied. Mouths frosting block, gleefully they paper her kitchen oven and all. And when they put a sheet over her face, giggling, to trace its contours in cornflour, their pupils no longer meet its lines. They must rely on the three-legged two-step of memory and perception. The beat won't stop even when your feet go missing. To map the channels fishing out from the corners of her night sky eyes, like a daydream out of which will never snap, but no will end, as this record heat cements. And so when the moment comes, we look out over the Pacific, where there's ever redder set piece sun, going around and down. Look out for any glimmer of twilight blue leather along the crepuscular ground, futile even by cell flash at dusk end, retracing a path already taken again and again, and then giving up. Nothing left but to hop on call after call to call in, bankrupt after crankrupt, my current status, disabused of disabused of symbolic currency. It ain't much. Only one last place to check against chance, the dollhouse on 19th, wherein the men protest all clothing and sexual censorship, where I had stopped to snatch a quick shot of the wee plastic toy boy billies gleaming nakedly in their disco window sway resistance on the way out. On the way there, on Geary, the cops ringing up my phone to inform me my wallet was returned to the station on Fillmore, just off Geary. My ID, my every single card, my come what may condom, a to-do list on the back of a Blackbird bar receipt, everything, even an easily swiped bill, present and accounted for. Turned in by a worker at the VA near the coastal trail who didn't leave a name, so all we can do is go home, as thankful, as surprised, as anxious, buzzed, as exhausted, with hope of waking, renewed in the morning, of keeping something of the sound of the waves inside us, that this might fortify us, to press through the night, that this might make it easier, though the sea thrashes it sings, to drift off. So now I'm going to read the kind of poem everyone has been on the edge of their seat hoping someone to let me read. A pandemic poem. But it's a fun one. If such a thing exists. Missing You. Private dancer cover COVID era. Who is she? Who was she? Who does she hope to be? Mark Powley, Boys in the Band. I don't miss happy hour courtyard well margaritas at Toad Hall, or lapping up all that eye tonic and tease lagniappe of the Castro Muscle Boys dressed down for the mix, the heat, the patios. They're always too smoking anyway. I don't miss drag shows for the price of a $12 well drink at the Edge. So crowded, too narrow, but maybe we'll meet new people we can go out drinking and dancing with. I don't miss dancing hot men, and not as hot men like me, and the ones you wonder have any value at all on the meat market, they call it. Like that guy eyeing me now, shaking their thong-dongs as their lives. Or maybe I don't have even the slightest whiff of longing for those hot-ass go-go boys at Bow, bending low on their poles and stuffing their tips in those perfectly cut jocks as Tina tantalizes howlingly, and yes, anything music will do. How much for teabagging? Ain't nothing free, girl. Maybe they do. Maybe I don't go for all that. Maybe it's a seller's market. But aren't we really all rent boys in these modern times anyway? And to think, or so I thought, I always just gave it away. I don't miss escaping our tiny Castro apartment for a patio, a warm afternoon for the price of a $7 cappuccino. Worth it to work in the open air on a poem on my $1,200 laptop with a water back and guaranteed obsolescence. I don't miss delicious fine dining special occasion experiences with veggie plates that prove the vegetal world to be the true realm of the sublime. I don't miss poetry, readings, bookstores, libraries, discovering the luminously singular pleasures of a person's erotic, melancholic, philosophical, bodily, political troublings of line, like a new language I knew I had to know. Don't miss that at all. Or maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do very much miss having that big place we only ever video toured, a wraparound balcony to ride on for free for the price of a Bay Area mortgage. I mean, where we could throw parties, be invited to more parties, make more friends, make our lives better for an overnight dinner, making community or whatever, and a life. Such a life we'd never have to leave the house and wouldn't even miss the outside world, wouldn't even miss leaving the country on cheap as shit roundabout flights to Mumbai, Montreal, Montevideo, or Madrid. Too few can afford being immersed in a cityscape, a texture and atmosphere designed to bridge hand and head, raise spirit from dead matter to gather us in. Built without doubt by exploitation, but it's here, so why not take it all in, all that art, in all these galleries and museums? It's cheaper to get the multi-pass that feeds our soul, or some such, doesn't it? Than bulbous gin tonics in the square. It did. I swear, I felt it. I could feel it. Oh yes, they have squares there, girl. Feeling me, or was that feeding on me? I felt something, for sure I did. This poor white trash-sashaying Kentucky kid who grew to think he'd never heal a cobblestone off North America. We should move there, or maybe I should stay with my husband in our two-snug apartment, writing all day and never venture out, or almost, rarely as now in the pandemic. Or maybe I should leave. Get my own place and write poetry all day, every day, jack off, or go back on grind, or even pay for it. Shit. It's easier and quicker, God knows, and God knows time is. Poetry all night, every night, I'm not hooking up poetry or sex and nothing else, but how would I live? So maybe a monastery, Buddhist, of course. And meditate, and garden all day, and meditate and sleep all night, to the silence like lack of sirens, or maybe also write some poetry or innovative new sutras for the 21st century or some such, and have sex with all the other monks, or sing and chant all day, and either way, is it about coming or connecting? Words and nerves as receptors, synapses and syntaxes as transmitters, or both? Are both veritably the same, or opposites, and either way, disrobing monks or meditating, writing poetry or planting seed, sitting on monks or among the sage, either way, shed myself of myself, if we can ever truly break out of our skulls and finally be nothing else but here or there. Should we move there instead, where it's so unseemingly and gorgingly gorgeous? I can't take it. I'd love to, but how would we live? We strategize and stretch the ways after 2 days of La Biennale di Venezia, the art of the world. In a drowning cathedral city, almost no one calls home this late in the game. We little lost rats in its narrows, no carpet pass, just like Barcelona's 12th century barrio gothique. No, there really is something about a place built for moving around in rather than driving over and through. There must be, or there once was, once the whole city, this Roman outpost in what's now Spain, a real neighborhood, once now used for day-bright boutique shopping and nightlife, tourist debauchery, once upon a time, a life. We probably all just missed it. Like we almost missed our plane and our cheap-ass tickets, non-refundable, of course. Shit! How could I forget karaoke at the Mint, the Lookout, Midnight Sun? I wish I could say I know by my heart, a change is gonna come. Yes, it will. Say it will. Yes, it will. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Just now, as I type, sitting here in San Francisco on our sagging seated blue velveteen couch. Maybe I know. Maybe I don't. It just feels so real at times. Late summer 2021, standing outside our apartment door and scanning out over the Castro, over the hills of houses, hazy morning, ringing new, rainbow-lit night, business signs, storefront lights, knowing for sure, feeling at least. This is what getting back to normal's getting back to. It's what's always only just simmered beneath. It's boiling over now.